Hello, my name is Laura. Welcome to Emotions and Music Video 1, Emotions and Music Exploring. The purpose of this video lesson is to learn about emotions and moods and turn feelings into musical sounds. We have 5 goals today. Learn about emotions and moods, compose a journal entry inspired by a personal emotional event, analyze journal entries for descriptive words, create a soundscape by turning descriptive words into musical sounds using found objects, and close with reflection questions from cellarts.org. We have a lot of work to do today, so please listen actively, have your materials ready, and feel free to stop and start the video as many times as needed throughout the lesson. We have 5 vocabulary words: emotion, mood, soundscape, sequence, and timbre. The words will be defined during the lesson, and at the end we will do a quick review. The materials you'll need today are instruments, which are objects that make interesting sounds, and something to compose a journal entry with. Today we will be using non-traditional instruments. Please look around the room and use your imagination to find objects to turn into musical instruments for today's lesson. For the journal entry, the options are write, using an app or paper and something to write with, draw, color, using an app or papers, crayons, markers, or pencils, or speak and record yourself. Select the option that is most comfortable for you. Now would be a great time to pause the video to collect the materials. Let's explore our first 2 vocabulary words, emotion and mood. Emotion is a mental reaction as anger or fear, marked by strong feeling and usually causing physical effects. Mood is an emotional state of mind or feeling, also the feeling expressed in a work of art or literature. Emotions often describe how we respond to things that we experience, like running if scared, smiling if happy, or the eyes opening really wide when surprised. The key words are mental reaction, strong feeling, and physical effects. Please keep in mind that emotional reactions can be similar or dissimilar depending on the person and the situation. Moods often describe how we feel or how something seems, like being in a bad mood or a good mood, or a scary movie or a sad song. The key words are state of mind, feeling, and feeling expressed. Please keep in mind that perceptions on mood can be similar or dissimilar depending on the person and the situation. Please take a moment to think about emotions and moods that you have experienced before. Now we're going to do an activity to practice thinking about emotions and moods. Imagine you are the baby sloth. What are you feeling, and what caption would you provide? Now imagine you're the cat. What are you feeling, and what caption would you provide? Last one, imagine you are the orangutan. What are you feeling, and what caption would you provide? Okay, great. That was our introduction to emotions and moods. Please pause the video to think about or discuss the questions on the slide. What types of emotions and moods do people experience every day? Does everyone experience the same types of emotions and moods? In what ways are emotions and moods connected? Can one influence the other? Can you think of any songs, movies, or books that express a particular mood? Great, now it's time to compose a journal entry. So please pick an emotion or mood from the collage to complete the sentence below. Once you have selected your word, write, draw, color, or speak until the timer stops. The timer is 5 minutes. The prompt is a time when I felt, and you pick out the word. The timer will start soon. Please choose your words quickly. You have 10 seconds. Alright, time's up. Now it's time to analyze journal entries. We're going to examine journal entries, read, look, or listen carefully, make a list of 3 adjectives, descriptive words, to summarize the journal entry. Let's practice analyzing together. So to analyze, I must look at the visual elements and come up with 3 descriptive words. The words that came to my mind are swirly, because the lines are not straight, bold, because of the dark sky, and speckled, because of the tiny lines and dots behind the long lines. Okay, now it's your turn, so please examine your journal entry, read, look, or listen carefully, make a list of 3 adjectives, descriptive words, to summarize your journal entry. Please write them down after you come up with your words. Please pause the video to complete, and when you're done, move forward. Okay, great. I hope you have your 3 descriptive words from your journal entry. Now it's time to work on the soundscape. Before we get started, please get your instruments ready. There will be a 1-minute timer for you to discover all of the sounds your instruments can make. Okay, the timer will start now. Okay, great. I hope you found some interesting sounds. Now it's time to learn a little bit more about what a soundscape is. So a soundscape is a mixture of sounds within a particular environment and describes sounds occurring within a particular place at a particular time. The environments can be anything. Imagine you are at a park. What do you hear? Typical sounds may include trees moving in the breeze, people walking while talking, birds chirping, people running, dogs barking, children on the playground, etc. So soundscapes describe sounds occurring within a particular place at a particular time. The soundscapes that we are making today represent emotional soundscapes. We're doing this by creating a journal entry inspired by a personal emotional event, finding words to summarize the journal entry, and now we're going to turn those words into musical sounds. Part of making a soundscape involves organizing individual musical sounds together and playing them in a connected way. Sequence is the order in which things are or should be connected. Sequence describes how musical ideas are put together and organized. When you start working on your soundscape, you will need to figure out what sounds to use and how to organize them in sequence. The last word we have is timbre. Timbre is the perceived quality of sound and describes texture, color, and distinct types of sounds. Every instrument has a unique timbre depending on how it's made and what it's made out of. Timbre can also be produced by creating sounds in different ways on the same instrument. Okay, the instructions today are experiment with timbre to find sounds that best represent each of the 3 descriptive words. Choose which sounds to use for the soundscape, connect all sounds together in sequence, and you must be able to remember and repeat what you create. Let's practice making a soundscape together before you do one on your own. So we'll use the words that I came up with. I came up with swirly, bold, and speckled. So let's start with swirly. So on the count of 3, please play a swirly sound. 1, 2, 3. Now to experiment with timbre, on the count of 3, find a different way to play a swirly sound. 1, 2, 3. Now on the count of 3, play a bold sound. 1, 2, 3. Now on the count of 3, find a different way to make a bold sound. 1, 2, 3. Now on the count of 3, make a speckled sound. 1, 2, 3. Now on the count of 3, make a different speckled sound. 1, 2, 3. Now it's time to figure out what sounds to use and what order to put them in. So for my swirly sound, I'm going to choose this. For my bold sound, I'm going to choose this. And for my speckled sound, I'm going to choose this. Okay, the way I'm going to organize it is I'm going to start with bold, then I'm going to play swirly, and then I'm going to do speckled. I'm going to start now. And that was my soundscape. And now I need to test my memory to see if I can remember what I created. So, on the count of 3, I'm going to play that from memory. 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. So I came up with sounds to represent each of my words. I experimented with timbre. I selected the sounds to use. I organized them. I tried it out, and then I played it from memory. Okay? That's it. That's the process. So now it's time for you to create a soundscape on your own. So experiment with timbre to find sounds that represent each of the 3 descriptive words. Choose which sounds to use for the soundscape. Connect all sounds together in sequence, and you must be able to remember and repeat what you create. Please pause the video to complete each step and move forward when done. Okay, great. Let's check to make sure we have everything included. So, did you experiment with timbre to find sounds that represent each of the 3 descriptive words? Did you choose which sounds to use for the soundscape? Did you connect all sounds together in sequence? And were you able to remember and repeat what you created? If you said yes to all of these, great. Keep moving forward. If you need a little bit more time, that is totally fine. Please pause the video, take the time that you need, and when you're ready, please continue. If everyone is finished, it might be fun to pause the video to share soundscapes. You can even make a game out of it by having someone perform their soundscape and then everyone try to guess which words were used as a source of inspiration. Please pause the video now to share soundscapes or wait till the end of the lesson. We are almost done. The lesson is almost over. Here is a quick review of our vocabulary words. Emotion, a mental reaction as anger or fear, marked by strong feeling and usually causing physical effects. Mood, an emotional state of mind or feeling, also the feeling expressed in a work of art or literature. Soundscape, a mixture of sounds within a particular environment. Sequence, the order in which things are or should be connected. And timbre, the perceived quality of sound. If you would like to write the words down, please pause the video now. After the lesson, please reflect on the questions by cellarts.org. If you are working individually, you can think on the questions or journal, and if you're working in a group setting, please take time to discuss. I modified the first question to include different examples of creative work. So for question number 1, how does one's feelings and thoughts impact creative work like storytelling, music, visual art, theater, dance, or other? Today, we all made soundscapes. So how does one's feelings and thoughts impact creative work like making a soundscape? Second question, how does awareness of one's feelings and thoughts influence the generation of creative ideas? Today, we started with a journal entry inspired by a personal emotional event. Then we picked out 3 summary words to describe our journal entry. Then we turned those words into musical sounds. So how did your awareness of your feelings and thoughts influence the generation of your soundscape? Alright, this concludes our lesson. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the lesson and learned something new. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.